Hello everybody and welcome to this week's Easy 11 Plus live lesson on non-verbal reasoning. Dimitri, are you looking forward to it? Yeah, you can see how excited he is. Look at that excitement, he's raring to go. Mazura says, Robert, where are you? I'm here. Can't you see I'm here? Hi to Daweebs Kirunda. Hello to you as well. And Titilopi, it's wonderful to have you for your first live lesson apparently. I don't think I can shout out to everybody, but it's fantastic to have you here. Anyway, what am I on about? So it's non-verbal reasoning today. We haven't covered that for a while, but it's a very, very important topic. Don't forget to check out all the fantastic links in the video description. If you want to take part in the live chat, you need to subscribe to the channel, which is a fantastic thing to do anyway. It's completely free. If you want loads of extra content and loads of other benefits on the channel, have a look at the options when you click on join underneath the video so you can become a channel member, which is absolutely the best thing to be in the world. Dimitri's channel member. In fact, Dimitri has his own entire level of channel membership. Dimitri is getting big. He's weighing 4 kilos now and he's only, how old are you? He's only about 6 months old. He's going to be a chonk, I think is the phrase that people use. And now he's having a big chomp of my finger. Right, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you want to find out about all the videos on my channel, you can check that channel homepage, or you can get them all in a list, including the members only videos. What are you doing, violent character? You're a savage. You can get them all in a list if in the link in the video description you click on the video list, which is unsurprisingly a list of all my videos. Dimitri loves the video list. He visits it every day. Every day. God, he's vicious. Right, let's do some non-verbal reasoning. Oh, and don't forget to like the channel, like this video, and subscribe to the channel, all that nonsense. Dimitri says it's not nonsense. How dare you? I'm so angry. He's so angry. Look at him. Look at him. Vicious beastie. Do you want to go on my shoulder? Should we try that? Should we try you going on my shoulder, or are you just going to savage my face? Let's try that. All right, let's do some non-verbal... No, he's off. All right. Let's do some non-verbal reasoning. So, Mazura says, I really want a cat like Dimitri. Yeah, but are you prepared to be viciously savaged by a vast forest creature? Right, anyway. So, the thing I always stress when I'm talking about reasoning is that it's about having really good systems and not just plunging in and trying to see the answer. Let's ignore the example because I'm going to give you lots of examples here by going through the questions. Let's look at question 1. No, let's not do that. Let's look at the instructions. Always look at the instructions. What am I doing? Who knows? Choose the figure on the right. That would be this part. That goes best in the empty square on the left. Look at the wording carefully. That goes best. What does that suggest? It doesn't suggest that there's only one thing that could possibly go there. It could be you could make arguments for more than one, but you have to find the one that's the best fit, and only that will be the right answer. It doesn't tell you that the figures on the left form a sequence, but that is often going to be the case with questions like this. Bear those things in mind. Right, let's go and get stuck in. So question 1, and let's get rid of all this junk up here. There we are. Oh, that's nice. That's neat. Okay, so what's going on in this sequence of patterns? Well, to start with, we don't know because lots of things could be going on. So we have a scan through the things here, and we have a scan through the right. We can see that in the options on the right, there are different distributions of colours. But we can also see that we have triangles in the same places and pointing in the same directions. If you look around through these options, you can see that we've got the same triangles there, they're just different colours. So the things we're looking for are going to be to do with the colouring in of the triangles. We've got 3 colours going, got white, grey and black, but it isn't going to be to do with which way they're pointing and so on, because that doesn't change. So that's a really useful first check to do to avoid us wasting time on irrelevancies. So let's look at the colours here, looking now at the pattern on the left. We can see that the number of black triangles stays the same. There are always 2. Okay? We simply can't have one here with a different number of black triangles because that just wouldn't make sense as part of the set. So straight away we look at the options on the right and we can get rid of the ones that don't have 2 black triangles. So already that simple inspection has helped us a lot. Okay, now what else can we see? We can see that the number of white triangles decreases and the number of grey triangles increases. Which one are we going to start with? It's easier to count up, I think, so let's look at the grey triangles. We got 1, 2, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to have to be 6 grey triangles. Okay, on the right we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unfortunately we found a rule, but that rule does not help us. Sometimes that's going to happen. So let's not worry about the grey triangles for now. Let's look at the white triangles. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, hang on a sec. Let's check whether this is useful. Is there a different number of white triangles in each of the options on the right? We got 1, 2 and 1, 2. So there's no point even looking at that because it doesn't help us. So we've got the same number of grey triangles, the same number of white triangles, and the same number of black triangles in C and D. So it can't be about how many of each colour we have now. We've dealt with that already when we crossed out A and B. It must be about where they are. And we can see that the difference here is that in C we've got 2 white triangles in the middle and 2 black ones on the outside, whereas in D we've got 2 black ones on the inside and 2 white triangles on the outside. Let's look back at the options on the left, or the pattern on the left, let's say. Well, before we start looking at exactly where everything is, let's just look at it in general terms. The black triangles are always in different places. So it would make no sense as part of this group of patterns if we had the black triangles in the same place as in one of these other patterns. So in D, they're there, which is the same as that. So D simply doesn't make sense. Therefore, it must be option C. Now, there may well be a deeper rule going on. It might not just be that the black triangles are always in different places. And in fact, that's the case. Yeah, I think Barack Jr. there has got the right idea. This is because every time 2 great triangles are shaded in, I think you mean the 2 black, but your tablet or something is auto-corrected, I reckon. Because that is indeed the case. Each time the 2 black triangles, so if we look on the left here, this one and this one, they become grey. And then we imagine these 2 becoming grey. So it'd be grey there and grey there. And then, lastly, we're going to have the 2 white ones becoming grey. So we're going to be left with the 2 white ones in the middle. They're going to be the last ones to become grey. So that's why C is the answer. Often in an exam like this, there will be an answer sheet in which to give your answer, so it doesn't matter how much of a mess you make round here. If you have to provide your answer in this space, just make sure that nothing like this circle is cutting across a square box, and make sure that your answer is clearly in one of the boxes only. Okay, on to the next. Right, option 2 here. We can see that this and this are the same. So there's repetition going on. So what's going to be in here? Well, it can't be one of these because then this would be an odd one out. So there wouldn't be any kind of consistent pattern. Could it be something totally different? Maybe, but then we'd have 2 the same here and here and 2 different here and here. And that wouldn't really make sense as part of the pattern. So we really want it to be this with a simple alternation. And we have that here in option C. So therefore C really must be the answer. Quick check of the others. They don't really make any sense. This one has the 5-pointed star. So we'd have a circle on the outside and then 3 stars in a row. What's the pattern there? This one's got a circle in a circle, nothing to do with anything. This one has a circle with an unshaded or white star in the middle. Why would that be there? Why would you have 1 that's black and then 3 that have no black in them? None of them make any sense. Sometimes when a question looks really simple, it's because of some kind of trick that you've missed. So do take the time to think it through. But in this case, the obvious answer is the correct answer. It's all about being systematic, being careful, but also being prepared to move on quite quickly when you're certain. Right, on to 3, which is a little bit fiddlier. I think there are more things going on here. So, we've got, what's going on? No, sorry, I was just checking something, but I thought I made a silly mistake, but I don't think I did. If I do make mistakes in here, feel free to point them out. Valwesi, I'm not sure how to say your username, but I hope that's right. Falvetse, if you're German, I don't know. Anyway, NVR is the funnest of all topics. Good. I cannot say that I find it so, but I'm very glad to hear that someone does enjoy it. I suppose they're puzzles, aren't they? If you like doing puzzles, then I guess this is your dream Tuesday evening activity. What can I say? So we look at these and we can see that we've got a triangle in a circle, triangle in a circle, triangle in a circle, and we've got this thing here that's in different places. Okay, so those being in different places is a really obvious feature. Let's see how they move. We've got it up here, top left. Then we got it so that's moved round to there. So let's imagine they're always moving in that direction, anti-clockwise. So in that case, the next one will be down here, then it would be here, then it would, yes, okay. Do we have any options on the right where the funny little thing, the square that's partly shaded, is down bottom left? Oh, we do, 1, 2, 3 of them. Only C isn't like that. So we've reduced it to A, B, or D. Ruling one out is better than nothing. We're closer to the answer. As I often say with these things, even if you don't find the final answer, ruling out wrong possibilities still helps. Because if you can get it down to a situation where you're guessing between 2 options, for example, then you've got a 50% chance of being right. Whereas if you've got 4 options, you've only got a 25% chance of being right. And even if you have to guess between 3, that's still more likely to be right than guessing between 4. We've dealt with where that is. What else can we notice is different? Let's look at the options on the right and see what differences we can spot. Hang on a sec. In D, the triangle is sitting neatly inside the circle. But in B, it overlaps. Let's look back at the options on the left. In the last one, it's overlapping, but in these two, it isn't. So remember what I said before. If you've got something that's the same in 3 of them but different in the other, that wouldn't make any sense. There wouldn't be a common rule to these. So the only way for these to work as a set or as a sequence, really, with any underlying logic, is to have the triangle overlapping, sticking out in this box here, because then it's alternating. So in D, the triangle is not sticking out. We can get rid of that. So now we're reduced to A or B. Now, we're going to have to work hard to identify the rule here. And if we go through the ones on the left trying to work out what the rule is, we may or may not get it. The best thing to do now is to look at A and B and see how they're different, and then check that against the options on the left. I'm going to tilt the camera down a little bit because I'm disappearing off the bottom when I kind of hunch up like that with my bad posture. Okay, that's a little bit better. So what's going on the right? So we're looking here. And here, they're the bits that are a little different. And we can see in A, a little hard to see in your screen because of how the colours are coming through, but on the worksheet it's clearer. If you print out the worksheet or download the worksheet, it's linked in the video description as always. We can see that in A, this bit is grey and the outside bits are black, whereas in B, that bit's black and the outside bits are grey. As I say, you might need to download the worksheet to see this clearly. So that's the difference here. Let's look at the options on the left. We can see here that inside the triangle is grey and outside the triangle is black. And that matches option A on the right. So A is our answer, and that's a very subtle and tricky difference. And I think if we just looked at the left-hand side, we might not have got it. But looking at the right-hand side, comparing the options, then going back to the left, we can see the difference and apply it. We've got 3 kinds of questions in this, little paper I put together today, by the way. We've got 5 of these, so we're nearly through those, and then 5 of another kind, and 5 of another. Right, these are, we've got another one that's clearly moving in sequence. We've got little, blank, medium large, and large. So I think we're going to have medium small. That will be B or C. Nice and easy. Okay. And then we look on the right-hand side to see what the difference is. What's the difference between B and C? Well, B, I hope you can see it on the screen here. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I don't like zooming in because then it's tricky to zoom out and get it right, but I must serve my viewers. So B, we can see that the diagonals are going like that, and C, they're going like that. Okay, zoom out again. So it gets fiddly. It's the extremely slow processing power of my laptop as it tries to deal with these zoomings and unzoomings starts to cause havoc. But there we are. Good. Okay. So let's have a look at the options on the left. I'm not going to zoom back in. No. This one's going like that. This one's going like that. This one's going like that. So they must be alternating, or the last one here would just be a weird odd one out. So this one must therefore be going that way. Looking at the options, oh look, that's option C. What am I doing in these? As I said at the beginning, I'm not just looking at them, I'm trying to spot the answer. I'm breaking it down into different elements. I'm taking one rule at a time, using that rule to eliminate things that can't be the answer, and then when I've done what I can with that rule, then I move on to find another rule. Sometimes I start by looking at the left-hand side, sometimes I start by looking at the right. I'm flexible. I do what's most appropriate in the particular situation. Well done to Melini, saying it is C because of the diagonal line pointing right, pointing left. Maybe it's reversed on your screen for some reason. Strange things happen. Well, hang on. No, what am I talking about? I think it's pointing left because I think of it as going from bottom to top. But maybe you're thinking it was going from top to bottom. Then it is right. An entirely arbitrary preference. I don't know why I was so hung up on that. Yeah. Okay. I've got cat fur everywhere. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the... Yeah, there we are. Cat fur. It just gets all over the place. It particularly gets on my tablet here that I use for writing on. Because of the static electricity, and it just goes on the screen. If I just left it alone, in the end it would just be a beautiful kind of strokeable fur-covered thing and completely impractical for writing on. On to 5. This is the last one of these. Okay, so what can I see here? Looking at the left, there's this ball that's in different places on the, what should we call that? The pyramid, let's call it, even though it's got an open base. Yeah, pyramid. And we've got that little bar that's sometimes horizontal, sometimes vertical. Something you've got the hang of already. If the bar here is horizontal, then we have 3 horizontal and 1 vertical. So the last one here is a weird odd one out. And that can't be the case because these are a set. So therefore, it must be another alternating one with a vertical line like that. So let's get rid of B, which is horizontal. Okay, we've made a start. The vertical lines in A, C, and D are all the same as far as I can tell, so there's nothing else to do with that. So as I say, we take a rule, we use it to eliminate what we can, and then we move on and we find another rule. It's nice and systematic like that. Okay, I can't believe Dimitri hasn't come back to do more NVR. He loves NVR, far more than I do. Anyway, so in here we're obviously going to have that pyramid. Where are the little dots? Little squares, actually, if you look closely enough. Down here, it's in that place there, bottom left. In this one, it's top right. And then the next one, it's bottom right. So it seems to be going up the hill on one side and down the hill on the other side. So here it must be going up the hill. It must be about here. I'm not going to try and do a square because I'm not that skilled. I'm just going to do a splodge. Shout out to the cat Fluffy. Yes, a shout out to Fluffy. Hello, Fluffy. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying NVR as much as Dimitri does. Well, or at least nearly as much. Let's be realistic. So where is it up there? Only in option A. C and D have it in the wrong place. And there we have it. So again, we've taken one rule at a time and applied it, eliminating and selecting. Magic. Choose the figure on the right. That is a rotation of the figure on the left. You know, in the original versions of these worksheets, because these are questions I made for 11 Plus Lifeline, 11 Plus Lifeline is the most wonderful thing you will ever hear about, honestly. Anyway, it's an 11 Plus service I offer. Links in the video description, or Google 11 Plus Lifeline. Anyway, confession time, that the original versions of these worksheets in 11 Plus Lifeline said, horror for grammar pedants everywhere, choose the figure on the right, which is a rotation of the figure on the left, which, in a very subtle point of English, is incorrect. It should be that. I'm not going to start explaining why, because that's a big sidetrack. But if you want to think about the difference between which and that, a simple Google search will enlighten you. And that will be 10 minutes of your life that you will never get back. Rotations. Now, I like talking about rotations because I'm really boring. Okay, I also like talking about rotations because I think people often find my method for dealing with them a little bit surprising. because I think when you're dealing with rotations, it's good to avoid rotating as much as you can. Look at question 6 here. Here we have black dots in white circles. Option A has white dots in black circles. It cannot be a rotation. Here we have, you see my little pointer there? I hope so. You can see it without me drawing. Yeah, surely you can see that. If you're a cat watching, you're probably trying to pounce on the screen, grabbing it like it's a fly. Anyway, we can also see that the dots are central in the squares. And if you look on the right, here they are clearly not central. Here they are a little bit not central. Here they are as central as you could possibly wish for. Almost as though I'd created these with a graphics program and told the circles to be central. Here we are, option D. We've done no rotating there at all. Option D is the only one that can be right because the others cannot. And therefore we don't even need to turn it around to get that. Someone's commenting on a different video. A melancholy, romantic, gloomy, angry, etc., and could contribute to the mood/atmosphere, an atmosphere of isolation and sadness is created through the description. I don't know either. It sounds deep, but it sounds considerably more interesting than this non-verbal reasoning. What am I saying? This is fascinating. I'm enjoying this lesson as much as you are. On to question 7 here. Right, let's see what we can do with some of the same. There are lots of things going on here. So let's just talk in generalities. We've got a star which has 5 points. All the stars on the right have 5 points. We have got a big squiggle. We got a little sort of oval. And we've got 2 lines going across. Oh look, option D only has 1 line going across. It cannot be D. So just those generalities get us quite a long way. But they only get us so far because all of these have got the little oval, or little pill, and all of these have got the star. What else can we do with this? So let's look at the things on the right and see how they differ. We just look at one little thing at a time. And oh look, option B has the pill pointing between these 2 points in that direction, whereas in A and C it runs along the groove. What do we have here? It runs along the groove. Okay? And so therefore it is not going to be option B. And we can tell that without needing to do any mental rotations. It's just about seeing how one thing relates to another. Okay, and now we're looking at A and C. What's different about them? So, bit of advice here. This is going to be counterintuitive, okay? Brace yourself for a mind-blowing piece of advice, okay? Don't look too closely. Often if you get tunnel vision and really, really stare, you miss things. Sometimes the best thing to do is to tune out a little bit, just relax and just see what looks different. Let me look around and we go, hang on, this here is like, it's hanging like a hanging lamp, whereas here it's overlapping. Is this a hanging lamp or is it overlapping? It's overlapping. So it must be option A. Yet again, we have not rotated. We've just looked for points of difference and ruled things out. So simple, but so effective. And if you're used to doing this, you'll be able to do this really, really speedily. Notice what this has in common with questions 1 to 5 that we were looking at before. I'm not trying to do everything at once. I'm not trying to see the answer, zack. I'm just taking one element at a time, applying each rule until I've only got one option left. What have we got here? We've got a little house and a diagonal line and a little window. And the window is at the edge of the house. Oh look, option A, the window is in the middle of the house. The window is quite a long way away from the diagonal thing. Maybe the diagonal thing is a ramp or staircase and then you want to step out of it and look out the window. I don't know. But we look at option D and the window's right next to the staircase. It's a window on the staircase. It's not in the bedroom next door. Not option D. And now we've got B and C. Okay. And now, my friends, I think we finally need to do a little bit of rotating. But we've got all this way without it. So we've done pretty well. Now, the option on the left here is fortunately close to being, if this was a house, the right way up. I'm not sure if you lived in it, you'd feel it was close to being the right way up. But from our point of view, it isn't too bad. So it's sitting there. And let's imagine the house. Let's imagine the house is like that. And the window is there. And the line is like that. I'm an artist. I'm in the wrong job. I should be an artist. Okay, and now let's do B. So let's draw B as a house. Little mushroom house, maybe. Turn that round and we can see the window. So we've got to rotate. The window is going to be on the right-hand side. This little bit of sketching can be useful. Now, I don't need to bother about the diagonal because I can already see that the window here is not in the same place as this. B is not the answer. It must be C. So I've done a minimal bit of rotating there, but only to solve one specific problem, and it's got me to the answer. I've still got most of the way without rotating. Why am I so keen on this doing rotations without rotation? Is it just because I really, really, really hate turning things round? No, it isn't. It's for two reasons. Reason number one, a lot of people find visualizing spatial problems like rotation very difficult. And so I want to help them to understand how they can solve these questions without panic. And so I'm trying to help those people and show them that they can in fact do just as well as people who are good at rotating things in their heads. The second reason though, and this applies to everybody, is that even if you're pretty good at seeing things rotate, there are always likely to be things that you miss. So you'll see one that looks like a really good rotation, but you'll just miss that there's a line which crosses in one and just meets the end on another, for example. And all the sort of little things like that. So instead, if you can do it like this, you will reliably get the correct answer and not fall into traps. Okay, what have we got going on here? We've got this hujimi thingy. We've got a little black square, a little white square. Oh, look, C has a grey square and a black square. How easy it is to start ruling things out when you move like this. What else can we say about the thing on the left? It's got something with lots of sides. Before we've even counted them, we can see that B does not have as many sides. The little thing in the middle, so I put a line for it, making your life harder. But it's clearly different. So again, that's actually pretty easy to eliminate. Let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it better. I should have done this earlier on, sorry. There, that's better. Everyone can see that better. So now we're down to A and D. Already, that was really simple. Okay. No obvious differences now. I think we're going to need to do some rotation. It's going to happen in the end. But hang on a second. Do we even need to do any rotation? Step back, just tune out a little bit. As I said earlier, don't concentrate on them too hard. See the thing as a whole. Okay? Just what do you notice about these? Just look at them a little bit. Look. Not too closely, just generally. What do you see? What do you see? You see, I hope, that these are meeting each other towards the middle. That these are both on the outside. You see, in other words, that these are very close to being, or possibly in fact actually are, reflections of one another in a mirror line about there. Beautiful mirror line. I'm an artist. And if they're reflections, they're not rotations. Well, that's not a completely true statement, but it's clearly true in this case. A is not the answer. D must be the answer. It's the only one left. How else could you do it? You could say, let's look at the white dots. So you can say here, if we imagine that this is an arrow, it's going like that. And if you look at this one, same arrows going like that. So this one is going clockwise and this one is going counterclockwise. This one here is like that. So this one is going clockwise. So D is the one that's where that element is pointing in the same direction as the thing on the left. But frankly, if you spot the symmetry thing, it actually makes life easier. We're nearly there, folks. This is question 10. There are only 15 questions here. I know you're loving it. I know it's going to really upset you when we finish. I'm sorry about that. What have we got here? We have got this alien face with a pointy head. If you imagine turning it around. Oh, look, we're doing some rotating already. Oops. What have you got? We've got a circle and a square and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexagon. Okay, let's have a look. And we can see the square is in an end point. Are there anywhere the square isn't in an end point? No, there aren't. The square is across the end point. So the end point forms a triangle like this. A, B have that, D has that, but C doesn't. If you can see here, the square is actually, it's got a vertex pointing towards the vertex of the outer shape, or the point. You can use mathematical terms, or you can use terms that make sense to you. It doesn't matter because it's all going on in your head in an exam. You can be as unmathematical as you like as long as you get the answer. And it isn't a maths test. What else is going on here? Let's look on the right and see what the differences might be. We've got a square, a hexagon and a circle. Oh look, D has got a square and 2 hexagons. Not a rotation. We're going to have to rotate now. But do we need to rotate the whole shape, or do we just need to think about it in a kind of sensible way? Let's imagine that we are looking at it from this direction, okay? So you could turn your exam paper around, pick up my tablet, and go like this. Oops, oh no, I've just made chaos. I've just rotated this. Oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm an idiot. I forgot the screen rotate was on. Let's not do that. Anyway, you can turn the paper around and have a look, or you can just sort of think about it like this. Let's imagine this, if you're looking at it from the left-hand side, the square is at the top. That means the circle is to the left of the square, and the hexagon is to the right of the square if you're looking at it from the left-hand end. Okay? Look at A, circle is on the left, hexagon is on the right. That's okay. Look at B, the hexagon is on the left, and the circle is on the right. So this one is wrong, and so it must be A. I'm just checking that this is indeed what I got. I should have been checking throughout. Yes, it is. Phew. I'm paranoid about making mistakes because I know that when I do, people pounce on me and then I have to go cutting out sections of videos so as not to confuse people. And it doesn't happen that often, fortunately, but when it does, it is most embarrassing. Last set of questions. Select the option that is most like the 2 pictures. I don't mind putting these away. I'm going to need these, aren't I? So the option is most like the 2 pictures on the left. God, I've made these massive, haven't I? Anyway, all to the good. What can we see? We can see that we got 3 shapes. We've got an arrow that's pointing at one of them. What's the arrow pointing at? It's pointing at a triangle. In A, we've got 3 shapes, they're different colours. B, we've got 3 shapes. C and D, we've got 3 shapes that are not all different colours. So I'm pretty sure those are not the answer. Am I going to cross them out? I'm not. Why am I not going to cross them out? Because I have only guessed that the rule is that they must be 3 different colours. That's just a guess I've made at this point. That might not be the rule, or it might not be a key rule. I cannot be certain. So I'm going to be a little bit more discreet. I'm just going to cross out the letters. I don't think these are the answers. What was I saying anyway? We've got an arrow pointing at a triangle. In A, the arrow is pointing at the star. In B, it's pointing at the not quite rectangle. No, so it's not that. In the left-hand shapes, the arrow is pointing at a grey shape. In A, it's pointing at a grey shape, and in B, it isn't. It's going to be A. Because we now have a clear rule match. We have 3 different colours, white, grey, black, and we have the arrow pointing at a grey shape. And those 2 things clearly match the options on the left. They don't match any other options here, and so we can be really confident that A is the answer. Again, I'm taking one rule at a time, testing the rules until I have an answer of which I can be confident. I have no idea I don't know what's going on with Miss Knowles in the comments. Very peculiar. Before we had strange comments that could be from about a comprehension test, and now we've got either a foreign language that I don't know, or a made-up language, or no, they're song lyrics, aren't they? Because we've got times 2, times 2, times 2. Valois C, how long is this lesson? I don't think it'll be more than about 5¼ hours, I would say. I think certainly you can reliably be... Yeah, I think we'll be finished by about 11:15, more or less. Okay, question 12. What have we got? We've got something that's slightly unclear, but you should be able to see that that's the dividing line between the two things. But I'm sorry if that's a little bit unclear. I could have designed this one slightly more clearly. We've got a triangle and 3 dots. We've got an irregular pentagon, five-sided shape, and 5 dots. What could the pattern be here? We seem to have the same number of dots as the number of vertices on the shape, and they're outside the shape. I'm feeling pretty confident this is likely to be the rule, but let's check. A, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's too many. Let's move on and do the others. B, we got 5 and 4 dots. No, I'm so confident I'm crossing out. That could be a terrible error, but I'm not doing anything with the boxes. So at the end of the day, I can always cover for my mistakes. C, we've got loads of vertices and 2 dots. No. D, we got 5 vertices and 1 dot. It's also inside, but maybe that isn't the rule. I reckon it's going to be A. We said we had 7 vertices on the shape, and circles we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Why am I crossing them out? It's to stop me double counting. Pretty useful to do. 13, only 3 left. I'm so sorry. This is going to come to an end. I really apologise. Maybe we won't make it through to 11:15. Shucks. Okay. We have got 2 big squidgies. Talking of big squidgies, look who's come back. You cannot escape. You cannot escape. He says, no. I was doing the NVR and now you've dragged me away. Well, you can help me finish it, Dimby. Okay? Right, let's have a look. So here we have, can I hold him up and help him to... No, he's going to bite my ear. Why would you bite my ear? Oh, he's going to bite my arm. He's going to bite everything. Why are you so bitey? Okay, sit on my knee. Come on, sit on my knee. Don't run off. Don't run off. I'll scratch your neck if you stay there. It's magic. I'm scratching his neck and he's staying there. Okay, virtual hugs to Dimitri from Ria. Thank you, he appreciates them and that's why he's staying here. Also because I'm scratching the back of his neck. And yet again, there's fur everywhere. Trouble with a Siberian cat, apart from the fact that he's already enormous. He's already the size of a large cat and he's 6 months old. I dread to think how enormous he's going to become. Right, so we got 2 squidgies and 1 on my lap. But we've got those 2 big squidgies here. What do they have in common? They're all... blah, 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 ding, and there's a point. And here, it's a very mathematical way of just, hey, don't bite my hand, I'm tickling your neck. Oh, no, it's very bitey. I think it's because I'm sharing the video with him and he feels this should just be his channel. What do you think? Do you think he should just present this channel? Maybe he should, oh, and he's off. Bye, Dimitri. We go squiggle, 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 and ding. Okay? Hope you like my terminology. I think it's very precise. So we got 1 continual squiggle, squiggle with 1 ding at an edge. Look, I'm being a bit silly with squiggle and ting, but the reason I'm saying it like that is partly because it's just this stage in the day and I'm going even crazier than normal, but it's also because when you're in the exam, whatever way of thinking about, of conceptualizing the problem that works in your mind, that helps to make it clear, is good. And if that's squiggle ting, then you're fine. A is squiggle, 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 squiggle all the way around. There's no ding. B, squiggle all the way around. There is no ding. C goes squiggle, 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 ding, squiggle, 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 ding. There are 2 tings. If I go around D, let's start over here arbitrarily. Squiggle, 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 ding, squiggle, squiggle. Lots of squiggle and 1 ding. So D is the one that matches. Okay. However it works clearly in your head is good. Carol Knowles has returned from posting comments on other videos and is now correctly answering the question. Good. Fun fact, says Libby, did you know a fully squiggled shape has only 1 vertex? With things like this, I just feel terribly in danger of saying something really stupid. But I'm pretty sure it has no vertex, unless I'm misdefining the term. But, there's always a terrible terrible danger of being terribly wrong. I run that risk with virtually everything I say every day, as my wife would no doubt tell you, and as Dimitri tells me constantly. Looking at the options here, we've got various lines here, and here we've got various lines and a curve. So it can't be that they're all straight. How many are there? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very careful not to double count. So it can't be the number of them. So it can't be whether they're straight or curved, and it can't be the number of them. What else do we see about these? We see that they cross in various places. How many places do they cross in? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so these on the left each have 2 crossing points. So what am I talking about? They each have 4 crossing points. So now we're going to look on the right and see if that is the thing. And hopefully there'll only be one that has 4 crossing points. Here we've got 1 crossing point. Nope. Here we've got 1 crossing point. Nope. Here we got 1, 2, 3. Nope. Here we have got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Good. Last one. Okay, what's going on here? We have got, in each of these, let's divide them to make life clear, 4 little figures in the big figure, 4 shapes. And on the right, we have 3, 4, 4, 4. Pretty sure it's not A, can't be absolutely certain. The rule might not be the number of shapes. So I'm not fully crossing it out yet. What else can we see? We can see that they all have different patterns. Okay. D has got 2 white ones. Probably not D. What else can we see? We can see that they're laid out neatly at 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That applies to neither B nor C. So you see what I mean? You think you found a rule, but in fact, it may not be the rule. What else can we see? We can see, I'm going to come back to that, by the way. We can see that there are 2 squares with curved edges in each of these. And C has that, but B has 3 of them. So, probably not B. The answer seems to be C. So we've got 4 shapes, all different colours, 2 squares with curved edges. Seems pretty reliable. Okay. There may be a slight problem with this question, which I'm about to concede, because I think it's my mistake. Well, it's not anybody else's, is it? I set the questions and I'm doing it in the video, so it's not going to be anybody else's mistake. D has 4 shapes, but they're different, so not that rule. It's got 2 that are the same colour, but they are 1, 2, 3, 4 neatly arranged at the 4 corners, like on the left. So which is really the better answer, C or D? So what rules have we got? We've got 4 shapes. They both follow that rule. We've got all of them different colours. C follows that rule, but D doesn't. We've got they're at the 4 corners. D follows that rule, but C doesn't. And oh crumbs! And we've got 2 of them are squares with curved edges. C has that and D doesn't. C wins on points. C follows 3 rules from the left, whereas D only follows 2. So in the end, if I was going to be really, really picky, I would still end up with C as my answer. However, do I think this is a completely fair question? Not really. I think I've set one which is it's really pushing the limit of what's fair in the 11 plus, that it comes down to finding all the rules and totting them up. C is the better answer, And at the end of the day, you have to find the best answer, as always, in multiple choice, not just any possible answer. But it is the best answer by such a slim margin that I could well understand you coming up with a different one. So I'm happy with the answer, but I'm not completely happy with the question. So I'm going to give myself 50% for this one. I don't know if that's generous or not. Right. Okay. What are those arguments going on in the chat? Crumbs, don't want to have that. You can always close the chat. You can just minimize it and then it goes away. Be nice to each other, people. Be nice. Libby knows what to say. No, 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 it's ending too soon. Why? Don't worry, it's not ending yet, because now it's time for... the tip of the week, of course. You get to see me massive again, which I know is what you've all been waiting for. What even is my tip of the week? I've forgotten. At least a good thing I noted it down. At my age, if you don't do this, then everything is lost. Yeah, it's going back to something from earlier on. There are many kinds of question type in the 11 plus, and this is particularly true of NVR questions like this, but it's true of all kinds of tests that you do. It's true of maths, it's true of your comprehension, and so on. However hard you try, you will never be able to cover every possible question type that might come up in the exam. Partly because there are so many existing possibilities, and partly because the examiners are entirely free to invent some new fiendish device for testing your skills. Yes, practice with a wide range of things, but don't think that all you need to do is master every single type of question. What you need to do instead is the kind of thing that I hope I've been focusing on clearly enough in this video, which is finding really clear systems that you can apply across different types of question. Think about the things I've been doing consistently throughout today's lesson. The way that rather than just plunging in, I've been looking at one rule at a time in each kind of problem. The way that I've been eliminating, the way that I've been sometimes zooming in into details and sometimes stepping back and looking at things in a broader sense. But particularly the first two things, taking a rule at a time, eliminating, working systematically. And if you're good at doing that, then even if there's a new question type that you haven't seen before, you'll be able to take those same methods and apply them, and it will turn out well. Very much the same applies for other things. If you're working with, written comprehension, for example. If you've got the skills of analysing a question, looking at the number of marks, identifying keywords in the question, even if there's a question of a kind that you haven't seen before, you will still be in a strong position to answer it really well. And it applies across all your subjects. I won't bore you with examples. So, yes, study a wide range of question types, but above all else, focus on strong systems and strong skills, and then you will be equipped for anything. Right, I'm going to go very soon because it's been quite a long lesson, but first of all, I'll just take a few of your questions, if there are any. Please ask me a few questions, or I'll look really stupid, hanging out on a limb here. 11 Plus Master is praising my artistry. You must want something, is all I can say to that. Okay, a typically well-judged question from Sam McCabe. I have to flatter him because I know his mum. Right, do you have any tips for the ISEB? I know his dad as well, but it's more likely to be his mum watching this. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'm in a world of trouble now. I'm going to shut up. Do you have any tips for the ISEB, particularly since you can't go back and check? So this is a computer test where you move through the questions, and after you've finished each one, there is no return. How do you manage timing, making sure you check as well as you can as you go along without running out of time? In a way, I think the answer is in the question, because you phrased it exactly right. You need to check as well as you can as you go along without running out of time. In other words, don't seek perfection. Get to a state where you have a high degree of confidence in your answer, and then move on. Also, have a degree of exam sense. If you've already moved quite quickly through a number of questions, you probably know that you have a little bit of spare time to play with, and so take advantage of that if a question is more difficult. On the flip side, if you know you've been taking a little bit longer than you'd want to on a number of questions, you may have to accept a little bit less perfection in your checking on the difficult question that's in front of you right now. So that kind of thing comes through practice and through getting used to working with practice exams. The other thing I'd say about the ISEB, this is, by the way, I should be clear, the ISEB can mean two things. The ISEB, the Independent Schools Exam Board, traditionally set paper exams that lots of independent schools use. I think they still do that, but now they're particularly well known for the Iseb Pre-Test, which is a computer test. You sit it once and the results go out to loads and loads of schools. Some schools just use it as their entrance exam. What a lot of schools do, however, this is independent schools I'm talking about, they use it as a first stage screening, so squizillions of people sit this test, and then they pick off the ones who get the best marks and call them back for written exams and interviews and story writing and all that kind of malarkey. Anyway, that's what it is. I'm answering this in all the wrong order, but what can I say? It's, it's late. It's 5 to 7 at night, and excuses, Robert, excuses. The other thing I would say about this test, because it's adaptive, which means that if you get a question wrong, they start feeding you slightly easier questions that are worth fewer marks. And if you keep getting questions right, you get harder and quite harder questions that are worth more marks. If you think about that kind of tree diagram of options, the earlier questions in a section of the exam are in some ways more important. Because if you get the first question right, then the second question right, then the third question right, you're already being steered into the set of questions that are worth higher marks, and then you can more readily afford to get a few wrong, because the ones you get right will still be worth relatively more. Whereas if you get the first few in a section wrong, it'll be very hard to claw your way back to the higher mark questions. That's a slightly superficial understanding of how adaptive tests work, but I think broadly it covers it. So one thing I would say about the Iseb Pre-Test is don't rush the first questions in each section. Take them carefully and be as sure as you can of getting those right. If you're going to rush something, rush the ones towards the end, even if they are the harder questions that in an ordinary exam you would give a little bit more time to. Right, there's an enormous answer to that question. I know I've said a lot more than you asked, but let's go on to some other ones. The Hubbub is not asking a question, they are answering a question that somebody else may wish to ask. The Hubbub says, my tip for everyone, that's you guys, is that while taking the exam, remain calm, as you've trained extremely hard, and don't try to cram everything on the last day. Trust me. I trust you, Hubbub. It's excellent advice. Nothing to add to that. 11 Plus Master, what is your favourite football team? Yes, this is where politicians lie, isn't it? I have no idea. England. I'm a great football fan. Robert, tell Dimitri to make a channel of his own. You don't want me to tell him that. There would be no end to it. How did you become smart? You are so smart. How? Please tell me. Take these extremely inexpensive supplements available on my website, only £100 a day, and you too will be smart like me. What classical books are best for the 11 plus? Okay, this is a question I answer often in different ways, but I'm happy to touch on it again. There is no answer to this. Really, it comes from you. I think the mistake that a lot of people make is they think, crumbs, I've got these exams. Does anyone think crumbs? No, not unless you're Boris Johnson or perhaps me at this moment. Anyway, they think, crumbs, I've got this exam coming up. I need to read lots of Victorian novels so that I become very intelligent and know many words. And what happens is they start one, then they get bored, and then they read nothing else. And it's worse than if they hadn't opened great expectations in the first place. What often works better is you think, what are the things that interest me now? What are the books I enjoy reading? Even if they are total trash and teach you nothing. But so what are my interests here? The example I often give, because loads of people love the Alex Rider novels and they love these sort of child spy stories. And then try and find some older books, perhaps books for more mature readers, or perhaps books from a previous era that are also about your topic of interest. So you might look for some old spy stories and you might find something by John Buchan, for example. And then you've got a chance of enjoying it because it's on a topic you already like. And then you might actually learn something from it. You might remember some things, you might remember some words, you might remember what things interested you and be able to take those into your own writing, and so on and so forth. So that, I think, is a good way to go about it. Someone wonders what my name is. That, of course, is a great mystery. I never reveal my name. It's definitely not in the channel logo. How many types of questions are there? I refer you back to today's tip of the week. Liar pool, my worst enemy. So is spelling, I think, or possibly typing. Shout out for my fish, Minty, Tingy, Ori, and Chinty. There you are. Right, I'm going to wrap up in a second. By the time I'm shouting out to fish, we're probably running out of brainwaves to call upon. Oh, I'm going to finish with this one because the hubbub knows all the right things to say. You should revise in the last few days, but in the first few months, start with RSL or CGP books and develop onto BOM books. I'm just going to highlight the RSL bit there because I think that's the really important bit of that comment, and that's the thing you should remember as you go out from today's lesson. Right, Dimitri has run off, so he cannot say goodbye, unfortunately. So I'm going to say goodbye instead, which is a very poor substitute. Someone in the background is trying to lure him in with a string toy, but he's being uncooperative. Anyway, thank you very much for turning up today's lesson. Do check out the links in the video description. Don't forget to subscribe and join the channel and all that rubbish, you know about it. Tell your friends. These lessons are every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. They are, frankly, the most fun that you're likely to have this week. So why would you not be here? And why would they not be here either? I think that's... Oh, here comes Dimitri to say goodbye. He's going, no! He didn't sign up for this. He wants his own YouTube channel. He heard you. What have you done? All right, Dimitri, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to say goodbye? Yeah, okay, let's say goodbye. That's it. The video's going to be ending about now. All right. What do you say? Oh, he's seen something more interesting than me.